All right, I'm doing page 28, numbers 1 through 4 down here. Let me pause for a second so that if you don't have the book, you can copy those questions and get a screenshot of them. All right, so let's start with number 1. So it says, which of the following gives an equation for the line through, so I want to go through the point 3, -1, and then it's parallel to the line y equals -2x plus 1. Okay, well, parallel means that it has the same slope. So now I'm going to do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So that's y plus 1, because minus -1 equals -2 x minus 3. Okay, and then none of those are the choice, so you have to solve it for y. So then that's y plus 1 equals -2x plus 6, and then subtract 1. So then now I get y equals -2x plus 5, which is y equals -2x plus 5, which is C. Okay. All right, 2 is f of x equals x squared plus 1, and g of x equals 2x minus 1. And then we want to know f composite g of 2. Now this is interesting. Usually they put parentheses around this too, so you can tell it's like this. But anyway, this just means f of g of 2. So that means take 2 and plug it into g. So g of 2 is 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, and then now you take that and you replace g of 2 with 3. So now I want f of 3, which is 9 plus 1, which is 10. Okay, and 10 is D. All right, number 3. All right, multiple choice. The half-life of a certain radioactive substance is 8 hours. Okay, so half-life equals 8 hours. There are 5 grams initially present. Which of the following gives the best approximation there will be when there will be? So when will there be 1 gram? Okay, well, half-life means it's like the amount of time it takes to half it, okay? I'm going to have my calculator here to hold it down. So half-life means how long it takes to half the amount. So there will be, in 4 hours, there will be 2.5 grams, okay? And then if you half that, so let's just think about it reasonably. If you take 8 and divide it by 2, just kidding, 5 divided by 2, I don't know any of that. 5 divided by 2. Okay, that is, in 8 hours, there'll be 2.5 grams. Okay, then you half that, and there'll be 1.25 grams in 2 iterations of the half-life. So in other words, in 16 hours, there will be 1.25 grams. So it's got to be, if you're just thinking about multiple choice ideas, it's got to be one of these two, okay? All right, now if you half that, that's 0.6. So that's not helpful. I don't know if it's going to be 16 or 19, but you've got a good guess there. And if you can eliminate 3 choices, then you should at least guess, okay? Now, 15 hours is 1.25 grams, so it could be 16, but it could also be 19. So that's not, because the next one is 24 hours, because another 8 hours would be 24. So that's a good bit away from that. So really these are too close to really tell by reasoning strategies, so we're going to have to do some math to it. Okay? All right, so here's the formula for it. Y equals y naught e to the kt, or it could be RT a lot of times. I think I'm going to put R. And a lot of times they put a C here, but anyway. Okay. So here's what we know. We know the starting amount is 5, so that goes here. Always. We do not know the rate. All right, but we know that in 8 hours, then the amount is going to be half So that would be 2.5. See how I did that? So you just plug in all the things you know. This is T. This is Y naught. Okay. So T equals 8 when Y equals half of Y naught, which is 2.5. See? And then you plug it in, and you can solve it for R now. So now solve this for R, and you get 1/2 equals E to the 8R. Now take the ln, so ln of 1/2 equals 8R, then divide by 8. So then ln 0.5 divided by 8, and you get, that's my rate, negative 0.0866. All right, so now what you do is you take that and you use the formula, but now you fill in the rate, and still your Y naught, because that is stagnant, that's not changing. Okay, but your time and your amount will change. So now I have Y equals 5 E to the negative 0.0866 T. And then it says when, so that's T equals question mark, when Y equals 1. So now divide by 5. Take the ln. Oops, 0.0866 T, and then divide. Okay, and then we put that in our calculator. So natural log of 1/5 divided by, and then that. Or I could just do my answer from right there. Okay. Or you could do second answer, or you could type it in, and really it'll come out closer to 19 than it will 16. So, okay. So it was 19. I really thought it was going to be the 16 because it was close to 16 before when I just did it by hand. Okay. All right. So it was, T is about 18.6. So T is about 19, which is E. All right, number 4, find the okay, so f of x is e to the negative x minus 2, like that, and then it says find the domain. Okay, well, the domain of E, if you just think about the graph of E, is like this is e to the x. So the domain of E is all real numbers and nothing funky is happening here because it never equals 0. You might want to think about this and say, you know, this is 1 over e to the x, but then minus 2. Well, that still can't ever equal 0 in the denominator, so it still doesn't have any issues. Okay, so the domain is all real numbers. B, find the range. Okay, well, this one, it's a calculator because it says you can use the calculator on all of the to solve the following problems. So I'm definitely just gonna throw it in my calculator, and I should have for the first one, but I just wanted to recall the memorization graph. All right, so we have e to the negative x and then minus 2, and then I just like to hit zoom 6 or standard zoom. Okay, so it looks like it's bottoming out at 2. And if I think about what I know about my graph of E, and then I'm flipping it this way, so e to the negative x would flip this way, and then this would be down 2, then my horizontal asymptote is no longer 0. Now it's y equals 2. Okay, so then that means that my range is going to be negative 2 to infinity, and don't block that because it's a horizontal asymptote, and you can cross horizontal asymptotes, but E does not. It approaches it but never crosses it. So that's your range. Okay, and then it says find the zeros. Okay, again, calculator, so don't find them exactly. I mean, you can find them exactly if you want to, but it's allowed to be approximate because this is a calculator question. So you just do second calc 0, Okay, let me do it. Okay, and then it says left bound. So what I say is to get on it and then hit 2 or 3 or 4, something to the left and hit enter. And then I get on it again. And then I'm going to just hit a few to the right and hit enter. And then guess. And there it is, negative 0.693. And zeros are just x values, not x-intercepts. Okay, that's it.